We've already had a chance to review the Fun Cub from Multiplex, but we got our hands on a set of floats for it. So we know how it performs with the big Tundra wheels installed. We went ahead and installed a set of floats and took it out on the water today. Let's go take a look at the video and we'll kind of talk you through what our experience revealed.
Well, Kurt, you found out right away, as soon as it hit the water, that it had plenty of authority on the water rudder.
Yep.
I was impressed at how, even in today's wind, as you can see, the water was kind of choppy. You were able to control it quite well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, turned okay. If it was gusting hard, I would kind of have to let it slipstream a little bit and then bring it around the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So, but you know, gusting probably 4 or 5 miles an hour at times on the water itself.
Yeah.
3 to 5 miles an hour. You could turn it. You just had to wait till it calmed down a little bit.
Well, you can tell on takeoff here that it doesn't get up on plane like a traditional set of floats with a V bottom. What you'll notice with the Fun Cub is you've got to commit to it from the start.
Yep.
Plenty of up elevator and get that thing up in the air.
But it just pops right out of right off the water, and you apply about 30-degree flaps, and it just lifts itself right out. There's really no challenge at all, and not a whole lot of splash around. Like it sits with its tail kind of low in the water, so it has a nice incidence as you start to do your takeoff.
Yeah.
Then of course you pop out, you're immediately up into the wind, and now you see the qualities of the Multiplex Fun Cub kind of come through with that, regardless of the landing configuration.
Well, I think that with the additional weight of the floats hanging down underneath this airframe, from just thinking back on the first initial flight with just wheels, we had some wind on that one also. I think it handled a little better today in the wind because of that additional weight hanging down. Would you say or not?
Yeah, it's it's funny. Sometimes when you get floats on, they almost act as additional vertical stabilizers in there.
Or they can be adverse conditions too, and create drag that you're not used to.
Yeah, they can create a lot of drag, and they typically do induce a little bit of drag. These seem pretty slick in the air, and since they're foam, they aren't fiberglass. They're so light. You didn't have that intensified pendulum effect of being a high wing and the floats hanging low. Like on a Cub with fiberglass floats, trying to do rolls can be really difficult. This walked right through the rolls very comfortably.
Yeah.
I didn't wash out of them too quickly, and when I got inverted, it didn't feel like it wanted to fall off the other end.
Yeah, I noticed that on your loop. It didn't look like it was just flipping right over the top.
They're really they're pretty transparent when you're flying it. And you can still do your loops and stuff.
Exactly. Well, take us through the landing, Kurt. You found out a few things on that.
Yeah, as you set up your approach, you come down your downwind turn. I usually throw pretty heavy rudder in and counter with my ailerons to keep myself relatively flat. If I'm trying to bleed off some speed, I'll go ahead and crab through it, pretty heavily. And as I set up for my approach, you want to keep power on, and with any float plane, as you approach the water, you want to keep that nose up.
Sure.
And now if you've got a V hull or V design float, a lot of times you're coming in a little bit faster and you're still on plane. So you're up on plane when you hit the water, and then you need to keep the up elevator just a little tiny bit and keep a little bit of throttle on. And a lot of times a little bit of throttle is enough. The drag of the water is going to slow you down exponentially even with a consistent throttle speed, and that's going to help keep your nose up, so as you come off a plane you don't swamp. And swamping is when the tips of your floats hit the water and over you go. So,
well, you know what? This can kind of fall under real quick. We can do a real quick 5x5 review on this. I'm going to hit 2 points and just tell me what it is.
All right.
You put the floats on this.
Yep.
So let's go with a build as advertised.
All right.
I know these weren't a snap to put on.
No, this is a builder's float.
Real quick, run us through what you found to be probably the most difficult area.
Okay. When you go through, you've got to trim the back blocks as you place those on the actual floats themselves. I cut mine and trimmed them to where they have a nice curve and they kind of float in and look like they match. These are just square chunks of plastic. The tubes are up front. We used medium CA, which we found works really well on EPO foams generally, Elipore, Aerosol, all the different manufacturers. For the most part, if you rough up the surface, just break the surface a little bit, just enough to dull it so you can get through that finished plastic coat or that laminate layer that kind of comes out of the mold,
like a mold release.
Yep. So once you get down below that, you get a good adhesion to the foam. Use a little bit of kicker beforehand, let it dry, and then go ahead and use medium CA, non-foam safe, and just about anything will bond to this foam. It'll stick really well. We actually assemble them that way. The bars are already bent for you. You do have to fabricate the water rudder.
Yeah.
They give you a straight piece of wire. Use a template, bend it into shape, and also take this small piece of foam, cut it out to be able to fit the shape, put it in place, and then put some medium CA on that as well, and also wrap it with some packing tape so it won't come out. Okay. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward.
All right. Well, then the other quick part of the
balance is just right. I guess that's the last thing. Is it balances? Okay. I didn't have to do anything with the CG. It balanced the same with the float kit on as it did with the wheels. So.
Last part is, how does it change the skill level?
Well, it doesn't change the skill level of flying the Cub at all.
But the floats
But
would
the
have
float,
to change.
yeah, the float skill is its own skill set.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not a bad way for somebody to learn on floats. I will say that as you had mentioned, like a tapered or a V-hull type float is going to be a little more forgiving on coming off and onto plane. But generally speaking, if the wind wasn't whipping like it was today, this thing would have been a kitten in the water.
You think it'd stay right in that same skill level as it did with the Tundra?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think it changes it one
All
bit.
right.
It just gives you more flexibility. You can fly on water and you can fly on snow. So,
All right.
great addition to an already fun plane.
Yep.
And we had a lot of fun trying out the floats on it.
Yeah, we did.
You can always see the full review of the Fun Cub from Multiplex on our website at 2bfly.com, or you can go to rcflightsource.com, download the mobile app, and you have access to all the data as well. I'm Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby.
And I'm Rob. Thanks for watching.